Hello, class. I'm Brandon Cruz. I'd like to take a moment of your time to talk to you about something serious that's near and dear to me. Um, Depression and high anxiety. It's something I personally suffer from. I'm kind of a pretty boisterous guy, but even I get down and I go to a place that's not very good for anyone. It's a thing that's very common in the United States. It it basically drives people to a point of no return. It's kind of like a black hole. Once you go in, you really don't come out unless somebody, for the most part, rescues you. I personally found out I suffer from it back in 2011 when I was diagnosed with that and high anxiety while being in the Navy. I found out about how detrimental it could be, especially during the middle of a deployment. And being in the Navy, having depression and deployment, there's nowhere to go. You have nothing to do. So it just drags you deeper and deeper down into it. Okay? And you find yourself at a point where you're wondering how you got there and you're trying to figure out how to get out. And you're trying, feels like you're crawling in quicksand and you're just trying to get out. The reason I bring it up is because it affects more people than anyone can really imagine. I mean, we just passed September. September is Suicide Awareness Month. It should also be Depression Awareness Month because that's where a big part of depression comes from, that and the holidays. The holidays are coming up, and it only takes one thing, one thing to grab someone and bring them down to that place, that feeling of no return. Depression comes in many forms. It can look like someone just being glum, being down, not really having just out of their normal rhythm, their normal flow, if you will. For me, I know when I'm depressed, I tend to sleep more. I also tend to have a negative outlook on more things and have a even worse pessimistic attitude than I normally have, which is a fault of mine. But some things people can do to help people with depression is just really stick with them. Is just stick with them and let them know that you're here for them. Because one of the biggest things that used to get me personally is when the people you love, you care about, or family, friends, the people you look to for when you're having that day, is when you feel that they don't want to deal with you. They don't want to deal with your problem anymore. And depression is a problem. It can be a very big problem. So, from experience, being on possibly the worst deployment of my life, I had a very close moment, and a very good friend of mine kept me from going over that tipping point to where I might have made some really bad choices, either foreign or abroad, or however you want to look at it. I'm not really going to go into that because that's kind of a little too personal. But when I look at people, and you can see them on the street even, and they just have their head down, they're sulking, and they're just trying to keep it together. Maybe you should take the time as a person or an individual to say, hey, how are you doing? Are you all right? Because you might be that person that saves their life or inspires them to get help. And that's a big part of the problem too, is seeking help. No, a lot of people don't want to seek help because they're afraid they're going to get medicated and looked at as strange. And I can't tell you how many times just talking to someone sometimes is all the help they need. So I look at my past experiences, and this is something I would want to bring out, and hopefully everybody would take it somewhat serious. And I thank you all for listening to my speech. And just remember that you could be the difference that saves someone's life one day. You could be that one shining light in someone's very bleak, miserable, grim day, holding on to a thread of nothing. You could be the person that saves them. Again, I'm Brandon Cruz, and this was my speech on depression and high anxiety. Thank you very much.